This man, this is the face behind the audio that you'll be hearing. But this man, I don't know him. However, I know his kind. And I'm going to be playing a few clips from him while he's talking about reptilians and giants and things. But we're not going to come to the comment board talking about giants and reptilians and things, okay? He's an example of something. So we're going to stay focused. Then after him, I'm going to give you an example of something from someone else. Then after that, we'll get to the purpose of this commentary.
There's a lot of things about America that you don't know, but the fact that Abraham Lincoln mentions clearly that references a race of extinct giants, you gotta wonder, what does that mean? Well, look into some of this stuff and you can find out all of our earlier explorers also talk about giants. Christopher Columbus, when he first gets to America, it's very difficult, mind you, to find Christopher Columbus's writings. And again, Christopher Columbus is demonized and told you he's a horrible person and he is, a colonizer and a bad person. That's because they don't want you to read his writings.
Those bastards demonizing the great Christopher Columbus, whose intentions were pure and filled with sweet, wholesome goodness.
So that's because they don't want you to read his writings. Because when you actually read Christopher Columbus's writings, he talks about two groups of Indians. In fact, when he first gets here, there's a group of Indians that are nice tan skin, beautiful people, very kind, simple people, and he does say something like easy to manipulate for slavery.
But he saw them as a slave race, a people right to be made for the institution of slavery. I mean, but come on, let's be fair here. That's still no reason to demonize the man. Nor the other people who came here who also are demonized and called the colonizer for no reason.
Then he says there's another group of Indians that are twice the size of a normal man. They are deformed with dog faces, and they are giants and they eat people. So what happened with America is when people got to America, they heard these rumors of giant savage Indians that ate people, and they come over in ships and they're like, and they see the other Indians and they totally forget the other Indians are even a thing, and they're like, they see them like, oh my God, are those the Indians that eat people? And the other guys are kind of like, well, no, yeah, no. And then like they go and they just murder them. They wipe out a lot of the population of Native Americans because they heard the rumors of giant Indians that eat people, and they totally forget the fact that they were giant.
So they couldn't see with their own eyes that those people wasn't giants. They needed to remember the stories of the giants. Seeing that the people wasn't 10, 11, 12, 13 foot tall wasn't good as memory, so they killed the natives in self-defense, right? I mean, because nobody wants to get ate, right? Seeing that these people were the same height as you or even shorter, your conclusion is, oh, these must be the giants that we forgot about, so let's kill them.
But you see what happened was Christopher Columbus got here, the Native Americans, the normal ones, saw the guns that Christopher Columbus had and were like, oh my gosh, can we have those so we can kill the giant Indians that keep eating us? And so Christopher Columbus gave them the guns and they went and wiped them out. So they died pretty fast. There was not a lot of them left by that time.
And this is what I mean by demonizing people for no reason. You people out there that be lying on Columbus and everything. Columbus didn't use those guns on Native Americans like you liars tell people. No, he gave them guns to protect themselves against giants. But even these other travelers are unfairly demonized by you people.
And then Hernan Cortez, one of the earlier explorers who came to America, which was the motivation for Christopher Columbus, again, talks about giants. Hernan Cortez in Lexicon comes in contact with the Aztec and the people in the area, and they present to him giant bones. And he says it again in explorers. And even Amerigo Vespucci, whom America is named after supposedly, again has a story in his log about interacting with giants, which is fascinating because he says we basically see these Indian Native American women and they're beautiful and we try to kidnap them, and the Native American men come out and fight them off They jump on their boats, they take off, they land on an island across the way, and out of the island comes giants. They said the beings were so frightening, they jumped back in their boat and went back to deal with the other Indians that were gonna kill them for trying to steal their women.
I'm going to let that sit right there with y'all while I move on to this next example from a person named Renee Campos.
That nature, like they basically talked about yesterday?
I absolutely will seek any legal available option available to me.
Is there a reason you chose this location to do this announcement?
I feel the city of Fresno, there are certain areas that represent rehabilitation, people. This church has been here for hundreds of years. Forgiveness isn't something that is just given to you. It is not handed.
But he's not asking you about that church location, and you know that. Let's hear the reporter get specific about the location. And the location that you picked to do the interview, by the way.
I didn't silence them. I talked with them. They said, how could a person like you help? I listened, and I said, I can't fix everything, and I'm not going to promise you the world, but I can give you the advice I learned. That's the best I can do.
Does the conditions of your sentence prevent you from being a certain distance from schools?
There are certain California restrictions people must follow within the law, and I followed the law to the letter.
Can you share some of those restrictions after rehabilitation? Is there any set in place?
As of right now, it's the basic restrictions of California law.
And do you know some of them? Can you share them with us?
It's going to be the California laws that are restricted to that penal code.
There's an elementary school right there. Is that would that be against the rules?
I would say during operational hours, absolutely. I believe they are closed right now. I don't see anyone, and I understand the issue.
Well, at least you know what the issue is. Here's the issue.
A registered sex offender has launched a Fresno City Council campaign to represent District 7, which includes Old Fig Garden, East Central Fresno, and parts of Southeast Fresno. He would join a crowded field vying for the seat when Councilman Nelson Esparza's term runs out. The controversial political hopeful spoke with Action News reporter Brisa Colon in his first television interview about the criminal past he's not hiding.
Well, I believe Fresno deserves leaders that are honest from the very beginning, not the end. So going into this, I am putting my life out there.
Up front about his status as a registered sex offender, Renee Campos is not running from his past.
That's good. That's good you told the people. We appreciate that. It will tell you and me that if we have a problem with this, then we're the problem.
Hello, my name is Renee Campos. I'm a candidate for District 7. Today I've called this conference. Today it's not about one man. Today it's about the Constitution. The First Amendment does not belong to the comfortable. The Equal Protection Clause does not apply to only the popular. And the right to seek public office does not depend on whether these in power approve you. When government officials publicly discuss how to block a single candidate from appearing before voters, that's not policy debate. This is institutional overreach. The Constitution does not grant government the authority to pre-select who is worthy of the democracy. Voters decide, not councils, not rhetoric, not fear. If the standard becomes we are uncomfortable, then rights become conditional. And unconditional rights are not rights at all. So here I am saying, City of Fresno, you want to talk to me? Let's talk.
Have you ever talked one-on-one with any of the city council members in person?
Not one of them has reached out to me. I have voiced my opinions. I have met with the other candidates. I have shook their hands while they smiled in my face, and I said, is there anything you want to discuss? No. They chose to go on the news and say, I don't belong here. I don't belong in this race. What type of person doesn't belong here? Today, I don't belong. Tomorrow, they don't belong. So what are we saying? Does the Constitution matter anymore? The laws they're pushing on us, they want us to believe in them. You want us to follow them. You follow them. I've been accountable. Let's hold them accountable.
And can you kind of clear up there was a city council member who said they were checking in with the city attorney's office to see if things do progress and you take that seat, if children could be in the same city hall building. Is there, again, I guess I'm asking, any limitations or distance to be next to children in that aspect?
I get your clarification now. Yes, there are certain restrictions on it, as in school operation hours. No, you cannot go into a school. You can't go into that. I understand his concerns. However, if I was chosen for this, I would lead with integrity. And kids, I can't decide whether you feel this way or that way. I'm just asking people to trust me as I move forward. I am no danger to no one. I put everything out there, every detail I can, to make people feel that I have been transparent every single way. Nobody does this in government. Nobody comes out and says from the very beginning, hey, I fucked up, and now I'm back.
The purpose of this commentary is inspired by the chatter that I hear from the wrong type of people. The wrong people who speak on how divided people are and how we need to come together and fight the powers that be. That man, like I said, I don't know him, but I know his kind. And his kind is prevalent on the right, with that mentality that refuses to acknowledge obvious things. Things that are for sure a problem. Then from the left, you have those who also speak on how we're too divided and we need to set our differences to the side and come together to fight the elite. Meanwhile, there are people on the left, in the left, within the left, who have been fighting tooth and nail for the right to make it legal for adults to fuck children. Listen, there are all kinds of examples I could give. Too many to count. An innumerable amount from both sides. But I'll leave it at those two and leave by saying that this is why I'm such a negative Nancy when I hear the we need to come together people. Because it's not the idea. There's nothing wrong with the idea. It's the kind of people saying it that raises an eyebrow with me.